Hello and welcome, guys. We are back with our episode 4 review of Moon Knight. I'm joined by the man himself, SYL Abdul. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and this series is heating up.
Heck yes, this was quite an episode. Now we had fun with the last episode, because there's some great set pieces, there's some really good action, but this one was a really trippy episode, and we'll kind of get into it as we kind of break it down. But it was a weird one.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop, and it wasn't because of 420 Day, because I'm not into that. But it threw me for a loop.
Yeah, the writers were not sitting back and chilling with this one, no.
I'm just saying.
So let us jump straight into it. So we've had the recap, and then it pretty much picks up right where the first episode, where the previous episode ended. Mark, or Stephen rather, is unconscious because Khonshu has just used him to turn back the sky, and Khonshu is now trapped in a little statue, as he said that would happen if he angered the gods one more time. So we are pretty much stuck with Layla, who has to be the hero in this situation, and I didn't like this scene, I've got to admit.
Of course, Layla has to be. We knew where this was going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Strong women. It had to rear its head at the beginning of this episode. Yes, it's true.
Yeah, and it really does. And it's a little bit, it stretches believability a little bit too much with this one, because the bad guys catch up with them. They're on these trucks with machine guns, and they're firing at them, and she's trying to drag him down this sand dune, and eventually she just kind of tips him over and he rolls down, which I thought was kind of funny. And then she goes and hides behind this Jeep, and other than that, after that, it's kind of a game of cat and mouse between her and the bad guys, and she eventually manages to outsmart them and throws a flare into the back of their truck, which blows them up.
Again, I love capable women, so I like that in general. But this is a little bit too far.
Yeah, it was a little bit stupid. It's like, why would you be riding around with so many fireworks in the back of your truck? And she nearly takes him out. Look, he's just lying there on the sand. If that had exploded, it would have taken Stephen out with it.
Yeah, but who cares? Women.
Exactly, yeah. Layla got her moment to shine, damn it. And so, suck it.
Pretty much, I concur.
But we were saying before we went live, a lot of this scene could have been properly cut out and kind of covered within a couple of lines. We didn't need so much of her doing what she does, and so much of them kind of taking time to find the tomb that they're looking for and catch up with Harrow and his men.
Yeah, because I thought that was the purpose of the last scene of the previous episode was, okay, this is where the tomb is at. We cut out the guesswork. Let's just cut to that next episode. But no, we get 5 to 7 minutes of Layla.
Yeah, and we're 11 minutes in at this point, and we've still just got these two on screen, and that's fine. There's some funny back and forths, and Mark has realized that Stephen's got feelings for her, and he kind of takes over and punches himself in the nose, which was kind of funny.
Moment.
That was
actually a good moment. So the Stephen Grant comedy did work better this episode, because it was kind of with Mark, and snoozing up to Layla here. I don't blame woman with a good accent. That always does it. But yeah, good comedy moment. Good stuff.
It worked pretty well, as I say, to see Oscar Isaacs taking on this role, and he does well with it. He is pretty much doing all of the heavy lifting with this at the moment.
Like we said before, he better be getting a good check. I mean, if he ain't close to 20 million, I'll be upset if I was Oscar Isaac right now.
But it's not until we get kind of down into the tomb where we really get into the action and the real kind of meat of the episode, which I was, for me, it was a turnaround. It gets much more interesting after this point. I love the sets again, fantastic set design. The way that they figure out, to find what they're looking for, to find where this piece is buried. It's actually a maze. And they're trying to find, a way around it. And as they're entering into this one room, there's blood splashed all over the place, and they're kind of getting a really bad feeling about this, understandably.
Definitely good phrase there. A bad feeling because you got some weird creatures in there, and little suspense moments, which it worked. It was a good change of pace for this episode, so I like this part.
Yes. What do you think of them? They're kind of pushing the boundary with the horror elements that they're bringing in. And we know, obviously, that's kind of where they seem to be going with a few of the shows now. They want to bring it a little bit darker. Do you think it's working in this?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think. I think they didn't go far enough, to be quite honest with you. I mean, this episode they tried to do the whole this creature's cutting out organs, and it's like a weird little scene. Oh, okay, let's do that. Let's go all the way. They cut away from all the deaths mostly on this show, but they're going that direction, Purple, right? And hopefully by Werewolf by Night, hopefully they have it down where they can go totally there.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm just trying to find a decent shot of this creature because it's I suppose it's like it's a zombie mummy, I guess you would call it, and it makes this really eerie clicking noise, and I really liked it. I thought it was really clever. It was definitely reminded me of the Brendan Fraser movies with those mummies.
Yeah. You like the horror shit, right? That's cool. I think it's not really like a good shot because it was very still like obscure. It's dark anytime you've seen this creature to save money, obviously. But that's the thing with this show as well. But again, I like that element, bringing creatures, and if it's not mystical, it's kind of like thriller type stuff. So that's cool.
Yes, and to be fair, this thing almost takes her out. She kind of rips its arm off, as you can see in this shot here, and it's kind of stabbing her or stabbing at her with what's left of this stump of an arm, which I thought was really effective. And she's panicking at this point. This thing is almost overpowering her. So even though we do have Layla kind of taking control in this episode, and a lot of people really won't like that because there's too much of her, quite frankly, she almost gets taken out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey, this is a good actress, right? I'm gonna give her credit. She does good as far as showing like fearful moments. She's just going with what the writer is putting in this show. So, but like I said, it's good. At least just show her in a little peril. Don't make it so easy, for her to do everything that a man really can't do. So, yeah, that was it.
Yes, and she also had a really kind of interesting conversation with Harrow as well, which I thought was really cool. Now, it's been hinted at, and she's kind of getting the idea that Mark had much more to do with the death of her father than he was letting on, and Harrow at this point pretty much confirms it, and she doesn't want to believe him at this point, but I think deep down inside she knows that this is the case. And it was interesting to see him kind of taunting her, but also almost doing it in a benevolent way, like he really wanted her to know the truth, but obviously because he's the bad guy, he's kind of being a dick about it.
Oh yeah, Harrow again. Ethan Hawke, come on now. He's just kind of swaying in here, like, hey, by the way, Mark knows how your father died, and so it's like he's playing that whole psychological thing because he knows that she was gonna run to Mark and screw this whole operation up. So Harrow's thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead here. So good stuff.
Absolutely, and hats off to Ethan Hawke once again. Plays a fantastic role. He's becoming one of my favorite actors within these MCU shows. He's really taken this character and kind of made it his own. Now, kind of, I think it's fair to say they all have, because not a lot of these characters have that much bearing on the origins of the comics, but it's still interesting to see.
Yeah, Ethan Hawke. Yeah, again, it's been a W for him. Again, it's the Oscar Isaac show, but it is featuring Ethan Hawke, so it's good stuff.
Absolutely. And I love this scene where they finally find the ex-Avatar, and it turns out to be Alexander the Great, and he has to kind of shove his arm right down inside this mummy, and he's wincing. It's so funny.
Yeah, because he had to figure out, like, where's this hidden at? It's like, oh, he's like the voice of this god, so it has to be in his throat, right? So he shoves his hand in there. You hear the squishiness and stuff. So cool moment.
He was basically wearing that mummy as a glove puppet. It's up to his shoulder. It's like, how far down did they put this thing?
I know. Is that his throat? Like, what the fuck?
I was thinking, they just have to kind of open his mouth, and there it is. But no, it was right down there.
Gotta get in there. You gotta kind of deep throat it.
And then we get to the point where he's really happy. It's like, we've won, Layla. We got here first, and she's having absolutely none of it. She's like, let me speak to Mark. She is pissed.
I swear. I think this show averages 1 moment per episode, which it takes me out of it. This was the moment for this episode where I'm like, we're winning, woman. Like, can we talk about this later, please? Our lives are in danger, right? No, I demand. Okay,
yeah, and she should have listened to him, because the very next thing that happens, Harrow and his men turn up, and he gets shot, and she then flees. And then this is where it takes a turn for the bizarre, I think would be the best way to say it. I did not see this twist coming, even though we'd seen it in the trailer, so I knew it was going to be in one of the episodes. But here we have the very meta and very much based on the Jeff Lemire series or run of the comics, where he's actually in a asylum. Basically, he's a mental patient.
Mm-hmm. So, and again, I lean on Purple for these deep dive connections. The fact that he ends up in this mental hospital. Again, the Legion vibes, which we heard from the earlier viewers, Purple, that, hey, it's going to have this Legion take, the FX show, which I liked, at least a season and a half of that. But if you can say, like, in this mental hospital, in that run, Purple, is he imagining these events then, or how'd you take that?
The way it plays out in the comics, it's all a mind trick from Amet. So she's actually the one behind this. So I'd be curious to see who, is this all in his head? Has it always been all in his head? Or, is this something that's been concocted and something that the gods have come up with? But again, it's a really great scene, and you see people throughout the show that you've seen before. So his ex boss from the museum is there, and the orderlies are being played by the police officers that arrested him, and you've even got the guy that played the statue. He's calling out the bingo numbers. So it's really interesting. Layla's here, unfortunately.
She had to have her moment.
But it's very, very cleverly done. I really, really enjoyed this scene, I've got to admit, and it gets even better once he gets to this. He escapes from Harrow. He runs and he finds this sarcophagus and pushes it open, and Stephen's inside. So now we've got Stephen and Mark at the same time.
And you remember, as Stephen and Mark is running down the corridors, there's a third. But they don't open it. Is that third personality?
I would imagine so, yes. This is the elusive third personality that may have been here all along, and neither of them knew about it. Yeah, I very much think that inside this third shaking sarcophagus was the Jake Lockley personality.
Good old Jake hiding in there, the murderous. I think that's what they're trying to make of personality. What the fuck?
And this is what it ends on. We have, I guess this is the first time, other than Khonshu, we actually get to see one of the Egyptian deities, and it's one of the goddesses.
It threw me for a loop. Hashtag not my goddess, but that shows up, and appropriately the episode ends at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. They both scream. She says hi, and that's it. Credits roll.
Reminds me of like an old date. I didn't, the lights were kind of low. You just didn't know,
The beer goggles came off. You mean?
That's probably what it was. Hey, we get caught slipping at least one time, fellas. Y'all know what's up.
I think I'm going to leave this final frame up because it does make me laugh. It's like
perfect, man. I think Oscar Isaac show. Perfect.
I'm still having fun with the show, but the main criticism I have, especially with this episode and a little bit with the previous episode, is that we're not seeing a lot of Moon Knight. Now, I hope that they remedy that in the last 2 episodes, but I don't know. What do you think? I like the action-adventure side. I like the mystery, but I'm not seeing a lot of the, the title character.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of budget Moon Knighting going on. We with the first episode, I think the big criticism, like, we get like 3 seconds at the end, and then it was like one cool sequence in the second one where he kind of impales this creature. Cool, but it tried to put too much comedy into it, and the same with the third one. So it's like it's kind of a theme with the show. And this show, they said, "F it, you're not getting no Moon Knight at all." How about that? Yeah, what you gonna say now?
We're gonna take our Moon Knight and we're gonna take it away. Yeah, screw you.
Yeah, so you don't like a little Moon Knight? We're gonna get 0. How about 0? Yeah,
you didn't like Mr. Knight? Fine, we're gonna take Moon Knight back as well.
You like that now? Yeah. So hopefully, like you said, the last 2 episodes, they really, let them go just full beast. It's like, let's stop playing. I think we're going to get it, though. I do think we're going to get that moment.
I think so, yeah. I think it's just going to get kind of more trippy as it goes on. I think we're, if they are heavily leaning on the comics as they are, at least in this particular scenario, then we are going to see Moon Knight and he's going to, bust out, and it'd be cool to see. I really like it. I kind of wish they'd stop teasing this third personality, since pretty much everybody is expecting it now. They could really just do with getting on with it and introducing him.
Yeah, that is one thing that kind of lingered. I think there was a 3rd episode, but they should have just went ahead and just showed like the third personality, unless they're really twisting it more than we think. Because again, it did a little hint at the other tomb, that they didn't open. So it better be a big reveal. But knowing Marvel, I will say, with these Disney Plus shows, episode 5 is supposed to be the big reveal. Every show now. Like if you watch Hawkeye, you got the full Kingpin reveal was episode 5. So that may be the same thing with Moon Knight. So next week we'll find out. Yes,
and I'm looking forward to it. I've got to admit, this has been, at least for me, this has been the most enjoyable MCU show that they've done. That's not stacking it up against great competition, but still, I'll take what I can. I'll take what they give at the moment. We've got to find some joy somewhere.
We'll take it, right? But I mean, it really, throughout all this, Oscar Isaac is a gem of an actor. This guy, he's really stretched out his, just his palette here, and I'm actually excited for whatever he does after this, because I'm become a bigger fan of him now.
Same, absolutely. So, guys, that is what we think of the 4th episode. Please join us again next week for episode 5, when no doubt we will be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the next episode. A massive thank you to SYL for joining me once again today. Really appreciate it.
Always. We have to find another show after this. We only got 2 more weeks left. We'll find something.
yes. We'll have to come up with something to cover after this. Looking forward to it. So, guys, let me say a massive thank you to everybody who joined us today, and we hope to see you again next time.